Hi everybody, so we are doing a new project today. This is a custom Michael Schumacher career and we are starting in 1991. I did try to get him into 1990, but the way I figured my transfers out, Michael just couldn't get a drive in 1990, so he starts in 1991 as real life, but he's starting right from the season opener in Brazil, but it is still in Rio de Janeiro in this timeline, and he's only managed to get into a Coloni, which is the slowest car in the field. So yeah, and I am going to be driving these races, but I will be showing you clips from the AI racing as well, because transfers have been done. You'll see more. I'll let the grid lineup roll on this episode and probably the first episode of each season, just so you can see who's driving where, but I probably won't do it for the entire season, because once you know who's driving where, I get a feeling you guys might get a bit bored. So but this is my qualifying lap, so I don't normally show you qualifying, but I figured I probably will show you the majority of qualifying laps, but not the warm-up lap. I'm showing you the warm-up lap this time because a lot happened, and you can see like where I struggle with the 1991 cars is they will oversteer and then I'll flick it to try to get it online because it doesn't feel right, and then I will understeer. So yeah, I've got a bit of work to do getting to understand how this works, and plus I'm in a Coloni. I think that the bad characteristics are going to be even more pronounced, and as you can see there, struggling a lot on that turn, and now coming up to the next turn, which I kind of didn't appreciate how deep that was going to be, and off I go, and that is the front wing lost, and that's before I've started my flying lap. Well, I'm going to have to do the flying lap, because even if I can qualify 30th instead of 32nd, it'll give me something. I've got to give myself a chance, and with the handling problems I'm having with the 1991 cars, I don't know if it'll actually make that much difference having the front wing or not. So we're going to try for the flying lap anyway. Anywhere we can get up the grid is going to be great. I mean, I think this season to get one single point from the season will be a massive achievement, and there will be no in-season transfers, so the lineups we've got at the start of the season will definitely remain throughout, but I'll probably figure out, probably won't tell you guys, but I'll probably figure out around before the end of the season what is going to be the driver lineups for the following year, because if I'm going to retire later in the career, obviously you'll need to know about it, but yeah, so here we go, still in that qualifying lap, and I really do want to maximise things and get as high up the grid as possible, but this is a debut. Go remember, I'm an inexperienced driver, even though I am Michael Schumacher, which has meant I've set the AI difficulty for the Coloni a little bit lower than one would normally expect for the Coloni, and I don't know how I'm doing. I'm just driving how feels comfortable, because that is just going to be the best way that I learn how to control these 91 cars. And you can see I'm very ragged there again, and there is a Lotus behind me, and yeah, clearly not much pace considering the Lotus is only a midfield car. The competitive order of the teams isn't the same as in real life either, just so you're aware of that. So, oh, and that was very rude. Well, that Lotus is either Nakajima or Chiba, and they are going to be marked for me, although I was not likely to be able to get my own back on them this season. You saw how much pace the Lotus has over my Coloni. This is going to be a difficult season, and I think this first race is going to be potentially particularly difficult. And let's see the qualifying result. 12 seconds off the pace of Johnny Herbert in his Fond Metal. That is not good. So here we go. Here's the starting grid. I'm going to show you this just so you can see who is where. As you can see, Alain Prost stuck at McLaren in this timeline. Ayrton Senna moved to Williams early, and Prost, I'm to believe he got his fourth world title in 1990 in this timeline. So obviously, because I wasn't racing, I didn't work it out, but you know, that would be the obvious result. So yeah, we're going to give that to Prost. As you can see, Mansell and Berger remain at Ferrari, and Prost has got Boutsen as his partner at McLaren, and Senna is the Williams team leader. Although this weekend, Riccardo Patrese has out-qualified him. So yeah, great result from Patrese. You can see here the team lineups, and some drivers have stayed from where they started in my base point of 1989, but you can see the likes of Martin Brundle at Tyrrell, Leto and Martini in the Ligier, and Ligier have brought out a pretty good car this year, so there could be a chance of them. Nelson Piquet in this timeline went from Lotus to Dallara, so Nelson Piquet, he's got a chance to lead the Dallara team, but they're quite a way down. Damon Hill making his debut in the Jordan, and I believe out qualifying his experienced teammate Roberto Moreno. Jean Alesi in this timeline in the Brabham, so a lot of the younger drivers and potential stars of the 90s are going to have to fight their way up in mid to lower end cars, so we're going to see that. And no one more than the Michael Schumacher role I'm playing in this timeline, because for Coloni, I mean, I'm going to have a hard job just to get a drive for 1992, because obviously, as we know, I'm going to stick with the real team. So as we know, not the real teams the drivers drove for, but as we know, Coloni went bankrupt at the end of this year, so I'm not going to try to recreate a Coloni team for 1992. I will lose my drive at the end of this year, and will I get another one is the question for 1992. That's what I'm not sure about, considering Coloni were the only team brave enough to take a chance, and we're going to see how this start goes, and it's sluggish, I'm afraid. I did have my foot on the floor, I didn't react late, but the car just wouldn't get off the grid, and now the yellow flag is over. I'm able to try to go up and make a few positions down into turn 1, and we do that nicely. There's Gugelmin. Can I get Gugelmin? That would be a nice little scalp. 20. No, well, I'm in 28, so I've made up 4 places, and in a car that was 16 seconds a lap. Oh no, 12 seconds a lap off the next guy in qualifying. This is this is the best thing I can hope for now, is to try to hold these guys behind. I think it's going to be difficult with that sort of a gap. Look how much Grillard is attacking me already. So yeah, it's not going to be easy, and I'm having to be extra cautious because I don't want the car to spin. I've got to get used to this oversteery nature of these cars. But look, Grillard just easily goes around me on the outside, and that is basically, well, in this Coloni at the moment, that means that 28th place is gone. Any hope of even finishing 28th is gone. I'm just defending from the guys behind me, and they are Herbert in his Fond Metal. I think Jos Verstappen in the Lamborghini is behind. Here we go, we're going to see the start. We are going to watch a bit of the AI racing as well, and Senna gets blocked off by Prost there, and Mansell leads away nicely. He's been absolutely, I wouldn't say dominant, but nicely, comfortably in control this weekend so far, and Berger briefly got ahead of Senna, but did drop back behind him. Senna not having that fruitful a home Grand Prix weekend so far, but still in 4th place, and I think he'll be hoping to advance on Prost and Patrese later in the race. And look at that, still in the slide in the Coloni, Michael Schumacher, and he's got Johnny Herbert's Fond Metal closing up gradually on him, and it's going to be a tricky old day for Michael. Look, again, all of that slide, all of that corner was slide, and it just cannot be the fastest way to take the corner. I've got to figure out how to drive around that slide, because otherwise it's going to be a problem for the entirety of 1991 at least, and I get a feeling 92 and 93 could be more of the same. So yeah, we've got to figure that out. Looking again, here's Mansell leading Patrese, Prost, Senna in 4th, then you've got Berger and Boots, and so the Ferraris, McLarens and Williams are all pretty closely matched on pace. If anything, it's the McLarens who are the slowest of the 3, but not by a lot, and Prost is still able to fight for the lead, and they do want to take a 4th world title in a row, and you know, it would be fantastic for them if they could do that. But it looks to me like Williams, Senna went there at the start of last year, and they had a rebuilding year. The results were getting better and better, and now they look ready to be in a battle for a world championship. It could be a 3-team battle this season. Well, Senna off though. Senna is off. I think he's got an issue. And Ayrton Senna, well, never seems to get much home Grand Prix luck, does he? And that continues. And Michael Schumacher continues in 28th place, because he's gained a position where Senna went off there. If he hasn't passed the scene, he certainly soon will, but I think he's already passed it. Yeah, he has. So Mansell, 2 laps for Patrese and Prost, and then you've got Nannini. Later you've got Berger and Boots in before them. You've got Brundle in 6th in the Tyrrell. So Brundle returns to the team that started his career, and Tyrrell have built a very neat and tidy car this year, just like Ligier, and that means Benetton are going to suffer, because I don't think Nannini and Pirro is a strong enough driver lineup to fend off Martin Brundle's enthusiasm and determination, and Jonathan Palmer still in that Tyrrell team as well. And then you've got Leto and Martini and Ligier, both keen to make their names. They've been trying for, well, Leto's still fairly new to the sport, but I know the fact Martini's been trying for a number of years, and he's finally got the opportunity to make his name, and he's doing pretty well. But look at the gap I've got to behind Griard. I've dropped 15 seconds behind him. That car really needs something, and I don't know what it's going to be. It's just going to be a season of try your best but struggle. I mean, if there's one or two tracks where I'm pretty decent, maybe I'll be able to do a bit better, but I don't know how better. But look at this, because they're coming to the final corner, and Prost is challenging Patrese here. Prost is going for second. He's got his nose ahead, but Patrese has the line, and he's going to repass that McLaren. That Williams is a decent car. I would imagine it's maybe marginally the best in the field, but Mansell has outperformed Williams beautifully today, and Nigel Mansell takes the victory here in Rio de Janeiro. Patrese second, then it's Prost, then I believe Berger, Boutsen and Martin Brundle, the only non-Ferrari McLaren Williams point scorer, mainly because of Senna's retirement, because even though, like I said, Ligier and Tyrrell have built a pretty tidy car, Ferrari, Williams and McLaren all significantly ahead of them, and it's going to be a difficult year. It's going to be a case very much of pick up points where you can if you're not in a top 3 car. And look at that, Jos Verstappen spinning off as he tries to apply pressure to Michael Schumacher in the closing stages. You have to say it's not been very pacey, but it's been a solid enough debut for Michael. He's kept it on the road, and he's not finished last. He's ahead of Verstappen. He's ahead of De Cesaris, who I think tried a move on the first lap on me and lost his front wing. So didn't really properly see that on camera, but yeah, so ahead of both of the Lamborghinis, and I think there's someone else we're ahead of as well who's finished having had a disrupted race. So yeah, not a terrible weekend. It's about the best you can expect at the Coloni. And there you go, Damon Hill unfortunately retired in his debut for Jordan, because he had a pretty neat and tidy debut. But here is the result: Nigel Mansell, Riccardo Patrese, Alain Prost, Gerhard Berger, Thierry Boutsen and Martin Brundle. The constructors, Ferrari 13, Williams and McLaren both on 6 and Tyrrell on 1. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this content, please remember to like and subscribe. Subscribing is free and it really helps the channel out. Take care, and I'll see you soon.
Brundle. 6.